Hey everybody. Um, I sat down a little bit ago with my whole purpose of starting to get our Teacher Tip Tuesdays together and ready for you in the new year. It's been some kind of year. I'm excited. It's 2021. Usually I don't celebrate the new year. I celebrate my new year in August when we go back to school. I don't ever really celebrate everybody else's new year. And this year I was like, yeah, I'm going to, and it's just going to be better. And me and Sarah sat down and we were talking about a lot of the stuff teachers have been telling us and tips we wanted to give. And so I fully intended on sitting here and starting that for you today. But before I do that, and before Sarah and I go to do that, I wanted to share my heart with you because she and I have talked so much. As you know, she and I are super close. We do this together. So if you'll see her, you'll see me. But before I brought you any tips, I just kind of wanted to be real and kind of lay it out there. So she and I have done a lot of talking, and this year we've always been real with you. We always try to share our hearts and what we think, what we believe, but this is a different kind of year, and I'm feeling more empowered, honestly, and I want you all to be empowered. And I want to bring that to you. And that's kind of our goal for this year is empowering teachers. We've always advocated for teachers. For myself, I've always believed that if you advocate for the teacher, you have a better teacher and teaching environment, and then your students are empowered. So the empowered teacher automatically empowers her students. And so I'm a very big advocate for teachers. And through this all and this year, as we get to know each other, I'm just going to be really real with you. And I was even talking to my mother today, and she's an educator. And we were just talking about how we just need to be real. And we need to talk with teachers the way teachers talk with each other. And so we're no more fluff. Like, I want to be who I am with you. And I like cute things. I like to have the pretty room. I like all that stuff. But the fluff of our job, I want to get away from that, and I want to just be so real. I don't want to sit here and say things to you all that, oh, that's just the right thing to say. That's just what teachers are supposed to say, and that's what teachers are supposed to want to hear. Now, I'm going to say what you want to hear. I'm going to say what teachers are thinking. I'm going to try to give you what teachers say that they need. The teachers, not anybody else who isn't a teacher and doesn't understand teaching, or people who've been so far removed from the classroom so long they just don't get it. So this first Teacher Tip Tuesday is really not a teacher tip, but it's really about, this year should be about the empowerment of teachers and your profession. And I think now more than ever. So me and Sarah started talking, and we've always felt like there needs to be fundamental change in education. So many teachers do. And education needs a true shift for it to be really good for our students. And to really do what it is that students need. All those good practices that we learn when we go to college and for our bachelors and our masters and all these, stuff that we can't ever really put into practice because there's all this other things that don't benefit our students that teachers are supposed to be doing. So we were talking just really at the beginning of the pandemic, way back in March, and, we were saying, oh my gosh, this is it. This is that big wake-up call that our nation is going to have about education, and a fundamental shift is going to happen, and things are going to get put in place to totally be student-centered and about the kids and, what learning really is. And just, we had all these conversations, and then we were really dismayed. We were disappointed. We got frustrated. Because that didn't happen. What happened was all this stuff, even the stuff that we know wasn't really working, but we did it anyway, just recreate all of that somehow, some way, and do it virtually and recreate it. And your kids should just be meeting these benchmarks by doing everything the old way. And how comes you're doing it the old way online and it's not working? And it was just a mess. And quite frankly, a lot of times it's still a mess. And we were really disappointed. We were disappointed. We really thought, number one, At first it seemed like people were like, oh my gosh, teachers are crazy amazing. I can't do this. So it went from like, yay, teachers to like, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all can't do this? Oh my God. From positive to back to the negative, back to where we started, kind of, well, you're back to ground zero as far as how people respect your profession. So this year we want to empower you, and we want you to know that in our hearts, we truly feel like the greatest title is teacher. Teacher is the greatest title as far as professions. It shouldn't be your only title. But as far as a profession, I truly just believe that teacher is the greatest title. You need to have teachers so you can have your doctors, your lawyers, your nurses, even politicians, whatever. Even professional sports players needed teachers to go to school, to get their scholarships, to go play college ball, to get drafted to their, prospective professional sport. Like, teachers are the cornerstone and center of those things. And we know you don't get the respect you deserve, but we're here to empower you and advocate for you. So that's going to be really important for us this year moving forward, because there's never a right time or a good time. It's just now. And so as we begin to jump into our teacher tips and all the other stuff that we have and that we work with people on, I just wanted to kind of be transparent with you. And I don't really mean for this to come off as negative, because a lot of people know me as I'm eternally optimistic. Like, you've got to find the good in everything. And I do that. Like, that's part of my personality. You can tell, like, the whole world could be burning down, and I can find some reason why something is good and happening. I wear a charm on my necklace that says, gratitude. Like, there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something to be good. And so that's just my way of thinking. And a lot of times when I advocate, it doesn't seem very positive, but I want to advocate to make it better. And that's really what we're going to be focused on and working for this year. There are so many positives, but like I said, the fluff, I'm tired of the fluff. I'm tired of this is just pretty. Like, I don't like pretty, but I want to be real and talk real and have those conversations that educators have all the time. And I want to say that you are worthy, that you matter, and that nobody can do what you can do. Nobody. And so I just want you to hold on to that, because all these people, who say, well, if you don't like teaching during the pandemic, just quit. There's lots of other people who need jobs right now. We know that you can't just walk off the street and be a teacher. We know that. You had to do a lot to get to that job that you're in. And so I want you to feel empowered, because no, not everybody can do what you can do. And even if somebody walked in and decided to be a teacher because they thought it was easy, they don't last. They don't last because it's not easy, and not everybody can do it. And they leave within a year to 3 years. You're there for the kids, and that is why. And you're turned into martyrs because the only people who can do what we do are the people who are truly in it for the students. Because if you're not in it for the students, you're not going to last. And so people do use that against teachers, right? They used against us to guilt us and to make us feel like we're martyrs and to make us feel like we have to give this all. And we're going to get all into that this year. We're going to talk about even the history of teaching and why is it the most micromanaged profession. We're going to talk about those things. But I just want you to feel good knowing, no matter what the outside world thinks, you're valued, you're important, you're special. And hopefully we can change that conversation and connotation in our society. But what you do is amazing. Not everybody can do what you do. I always go back to, my husband works with surgeons, and he told me the story one time about a surgeon he worked with, and the surgeon was a teacher for like 3 years before he went to med school. He was going to teach, and he did it for 3 years, and he cannot do it. He's an amazing surgeon, but he couldn't handle teaching. Think about that. Anytime I'm feeling kind of like, oh my gosh, did I pick what? I can do something. that this really respected person can't do. Because what you do is special. What you do is unique, and what you do isn't meant for everybody. He was smart enough to become a surgeon, but he didn't have what it took to be a teacher. And you have to be really smart to be a teacher, so I don't want it to sound like you don't have to be. You have to be well educated, know what you're doing, and you do it. Not everybody can do what you do. And I don't say that to take that away from any other profession, because I could not work in the medical field. That is not for me. I wasn't built to do that. I'm saying this to you so that you don't let anybody take from you the fact that what you do is amazing and not everybody can do it. And it is not an easy job. And I know you know this. So I just wanted to kind of reconfirm that through everything we're going through right now. And there are so many positives, and we're going to celebrate the positives and what we do. But we're also going to talk about those things that are negative. And we're going to say, how can that change? And what can we do to change that? Why is it negative? And this negative is not good for our students because of this. And it's not because teachers don't want to be held accountable. It's not because they're lazy. It literally is teachers that I have spoken to, the conversations I've had, they are yearning for change because some of the things that are happening in education do nothing for our students. And so we're going to talk about those things. We're going to dive into those topics. We're going to bring you good teacher tips so that when you're in that classroom doing something that not everybody can do, we can share, we can collaborate, bringing the ideas of teachers together to make this experience better for our students. Just that's what we do, right? We're teachers, we're adaptable, we're flexible. We're going to get through this pandemic now. But I just wanted to talk to you and let you know that we're going to bring you some for real teacher tips. Might as well call them like straight from the teacher's lounge, like tips that are really meaningful. It's really not my personality to sit here and just say the pretty things, because that's the things we're supposed to say. That's not who I am. And so I hope that this journey with us this year is exciting. That we learn new things, we discover new things, and that we start to make some fundamental changes in our educational system so that our kids get the best of the best all the time. And that's really my hope. My hope is, to build generations of people who have this lifelong love of learning and curiosity, and that they become change makers. And that all starts with the teachers. And so as we empower you, you will empower your students. And 2021 is going to be a different kind of year. But in my heart, I feel like it's going to be okay. Good things are going to happen. Big things are going to happen. And I can't wait to go on another year's journey with you all.